Credit where it's due here on both sides of our state line. Yesterday, federal judges in Missouri and Kansas granting temporary injunctions that halted portions of SAVE. That is, of course, Joe Biden's most recent plan to reduce student loan payments, i.e. takes your taxpayer dollars and use it to pay off the basket weaving degrees of, those who they're trying to buy the votes of. Andrew Bailey, the Missouri Attorney General, is on KCMO. I saw he was on Fox Business with Maria Bartiromo, so that was the warm-up act for his appearance on KCMO. Good morning, Mr. Attorney General. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Take me through this news yesterday and what this means for the people in Missouri and Kansas, since I know both sides of our state line played a role in this.
This is a huge win for the Constitution and the rule of law and working families in Missouri and Kansas. You're right. Look, the president knows this is illegal. We've done this before. A year ago, the United States Supreme Court handed down a decision in the first attempt by the president to unconstitutionally redistribute $500 billion in student loan debt. And the Supreme Court said that the president doesn't have any statutory authority to do that. And in fact, the Supreme Court used the major questions doctrine, which essentially stands for the proposition that Congress doesn't hide an elephant in a mouse hole. In other words, if the president's going to claim authority to do something on this order of magnitude, he's got to point to an explicit textual basis provided in law by Congress. He has failed to do so once again. Congress has twice rejected such a bill. And so what the president has done this time is use the Higher Education Act of 1965 that allows for the amendment of repayment terms. Well, amendment to repayment terms is different than cancellation. So he comes back to the well and starts bragging on the stump that the Supreme Court told him no, he's going to do it anyway. That provokes a constitutional crisis because he's willfully defying the authority of a co-equal third branch of government. But we took him to task. We went to court. We sued on both sides of the state line and are proud to deliver a win to stop President Biden from saddling working Missouri and Kansas families with Ivy League debt.
Okay, so the folks, I know that, you've seen this too on social media, people bragging about how they've gotten a letter from Joe Biden saying your student loan debt has been forgiven. I assume there's nothing to do about those who have already had this debt forgiven, air quotes, but it will prevent them from sending out more of these letters and bailing out more of this student loan debt. Is that what this means in the short term?
Absolutely. And the Missouri, the order we received from the Eastern District of Missouri is actually a nationwide injunction that works very well in companion with the order that was handed down in the Kansas case. And so they both cover all of this behavior and ultimately will put a stop to this unconstitutional redistribution of wealth. It's important to remember that Congress has the power of the purse, not the president. And that's the point I'm making when I'm saying this is unconstitutional. But Pete, to your point, not only is this unconstitutional and illegal because there's no statutory authority for the president to do this, it's clear he's just trying to buy votes. That's why he raced through this. That's why he sent those letters. Why wouldn't he just wait for the litigation to play out? Why is he out bragging about how he's willfully defying the Supreme Court? It's because he had to get those letters out to shore up a key demographic and try to buy them off because he's losing ground with those voters.
Some people are asking Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey on the text line, is there any chance of getting the money back from the student loans already bailed out? I assume the answer to that is no.
Short answer, we are going to pursue every opportunity to ensure that taxpayer money isn't unlawfully redistributed, even if it's already gone out the door. And so we're exploring all options. This is personal for me, Pete. I paid for my college in blood, sweat, and tears and service in the United States Army. It was a privilege to get to do that. Any small business owner or working family out there will tell you nothing is free. There's no such thing as debt cancellation. Someone's paying it off. We know that because of the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority, there is a state government structure in place that is funded by our General Assembly that will suffer economically because of this unconstitutional attempt to cancel student loan debt. It would have cost the Missouri taxpayers north of $44 million. That's why this is important to the people of my state and why we're fighting so hard to make sure that not only are no dollars going out in the future, but any tax dollars that were spent, we're exploring options to be able to ensure that they are not unlawfully redistributed.
All right. Well, Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona posted a statement on social media yesterday saying that the Department of Education, quote, strongly disagrees with the Kansas and Missouri District Court rulings, which blocks components of the SAVE plan that helps student loan borrowers have affordable monthly payments and stay out of default. The Department of Justice will continue to vigorously defend the SAVE plan. You're an attorney. I'm not. Why would the Department of Justice play a role in helping the administration do something that is clearly unconstitutional and has already been smacked down in part by the Supreme Court?
I totally agree with you. I think it's an abdication of their professional responsibility and an abdication of their authority to protect the government, instead weaponize the government to achieve a political aim, which is to keep Biden in office. It's shameful. We've seen that in other contexts. Look at last year about this time on the 4th of July when we obtained a preliminary injunction in the case Missouri v. Biden to stop government censorship on big tech. All that order said, all that injunction said was, you can't violate the Constitution. And what did the DOJ say? No, we've got to be able to censor in order to prevent disinformation. And we claim sole responsibility over determining what is and isn't disinformation. We have to be able to violate the Constitution. That's the argument the Department of Justice made. So that under President Biden, the Department of Justice has been turned into a crooked enterprise intent on undermining the rule of law. And yesterday's statement is no different.
All right. Attorney General Bailey, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, Pete. Same to you.
All right. That is Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey.